News!
Okay, we'll start with this. As it pertains to the women's super bantamweight division, IBF champion, unbeaten Scotney.
Catfish.
She had a little maintenance fight this weekend. She won the fight. I expected it to. And just
Looking ahead.
looking towards the future, what the following year might bring for this unbeaten up-and-comer, one of the brightest stars, I think, in the women's super bantamweight division today. It just so happens that next month, on the 18th, Rivas,
WBA champion at this weight from Venezuela.
she's going to be defending her WBA title against the former WBA featherweight champion of Mexico, Cruz. We talked about how Erica looked in her last fight. Capable,
Yeah.
strong,
Strong.
dangerous, and how she's campaigning as a super bantamweight now. She moved down from featherweight down to super bantam.
She's fighting Mayerling.
Rivas, who didn't look good in her last fight, opposite the ring, Nazarena Romero. We talked about that, how Nazarena looked to me like she should have won the fight. If nothing else, she made Mayerling look her age.
Tie it all together.
Nazarena Romero of Argentina is a mid-range to inside pressure fighter, a strong one, where many Argentinian fighters are often tough and strong.
Strong.
And it looked to me like she should have beat Mayerling, but Mayerling got lucky. The fight was stopped prematurely due to a clash of heads and subsequently scored a draw. Though for me and my money, it shouldn't have been. Nazarena should have been given a decision.
Mayerling got lucky. She got to escape with her world title and her world championship status intact. But here she is, fighting a pressure fighter again.
An even more experienced pressure fighter than Nazarena Romero, a former champion who is an even more prolific puncher than Nazarena.
Busy.
Comparing them, I think Nazarena Romero has more single punching power than Erica Cruz, but I think Erica throws more punches overall than Nazarena does.
Mayerling Rivas, looking like Father Time, has caught up to her, looking aged and worn in her last fight. How's she gonna look in this one?
I am leaning towards Erica Cruz to win.
Yeah.
I am leaning towards Erica Cruz to win the fight and pry away the WBA title from Mayerling Rivas.
What's any of this got to do with Scotney?
I think Scotney's going to end up fighting the winner. I think Ellie is going to end up in a unification match next year with the winner of this fight.
And if the winner of this fight is Erica Cruz,
Houston, we have a problem.
Before Erica Cruz's descent to super bantamweight, I would have given Ellie Scotney very good odds to beat almost anybody and everybody at this weight. Almost everybody. But now that Erica's there, and now that Erica is in the world title picture, that does change things. This is a fighter that was able to throw punches and bunches from round 1 to round 10 with Amanda Serrano at featherweight. Amanda had to work hard to fight her off. Ellie Scotney, she's a great boxer, very talented, but she doesn't have Amanda's stopping power.
she's more finesse than ferocity.
Part of what makes Ellie Scotney such a good boxer, great boxer, is the little things, the subtleties. But opposite the ring, somebody like Erica, there is very little room for little things and subtleties.
Because she's not the least bit subtle.
She's a mid-range to inside pressure fighter with an engine, hailing from high-altitude Mexico City. Those fighters in that awkward style,
Don't forget that she's a southpaw.
with a head like a fucking rock. It's safe to say that if Ellie Scotney finds herself opposite the ring Erica Cruz, she ain't knocking her out.
You think you're getting ahead of yourself?
I think that Mayerling Rivas is going to lose the WBA title next month. If by some chance she doesn't, and she stays WBA champion,
Right.
she ekes it out.
Right.
I think Ellie can beat Mayerling. But with Erica, I'm just not sure.
I think Ellie is sharp enough and fast enough that she can out-hustle Mayerling Rivas. But with Erica Cruz,
It's hard to imagine. Erica was in action not that long ago against America's own Melissa Odessa Parker. Comes from a great amateur background, southpaw, strong puncher, and she dismantled Melissa.
I don't think Ellie punches as hard as Melissa. I think she's faster and sharper and younger, though not necessarily stronger.
It's an uphill battle. At first glance, that would be an uphill battle for young Ellie Scotney.
Catford.
But that's how all this might break down. If Erica prized WBA title away from Marlene next month, what do you think she's gonna do? Who do you think she's gonna go after?
Yeah. There are two other champions at this weight. Jamie Mercado, she's got the WBC. Sigeline Lefauve, she's got the WBO. But guess what?
What?
They're not with major promotional outfits. They don't fight on a major platform. Ellie does.
The same one as Erica, under the same promotional banner as Erica.
So you figure it the fuck out, Sherlock!
She's gonna come after Ellie Scotney. Ellie's gotta get ready.
I think if Erica beats Marlene, next up, Ellie Scotney.
And what would be one mother of a challenge at some point next year. We'll see what happens. In men's heavyweight news, Eddie Hearn on Joshua versus Wilder setback. It was made by someone that couldn't deliver the fight. We're talking to other sites, other locations, other investors who want to bring the fight to their region of the world. It's important to note that the fight was contingent upon the money from Saudi.
It's not that Wilder fucked it up or AJ fucked it up or any of them.
We agreed. Wilder had agreed. Now we're talking to other sites about that fight in February or March. And that's still the plan. Very much the plan. Hearn said Joshua is still keen on fighting in December, either on a Matchroom promoted card on December 2nd or the 23rd. Even if it's against a lower opponent, Joshua has fought twice already this year, a decision over Jermaine Franklin in the spring, and a stoppage over Robert Helenius in August.
This is the first time in 4 years that Anthony Joshua has boxed 2 times in the same calendar year. It's been that long. Since then, he's only boxed once a year for the last 3 or 4 years. He means to change that.
Been talking a lot about the inactivity we see in a lot of PBC fighters, how Stephen Fulton hadn't fought in a year ahead of the Inouye fight, Spence hadn't fought in a year ahead of the Crawford fight, more recently Jermell Charlo was out for over a year ahead of the Canelo fight. Inactivity kills careers.
Apropos.
That must mean that activity, staying busy, staying active, that's good for a fighter's career and good for a fighter's sharpness. Now the other plan is, do we fight in December, Hearn said. And that's something that we've got to decide, quite honestly, next week, because it's not that far away. AJ needs to get into camp if he's going to fight in December, Hearn continued. He may just wait for the big fight in February or March, but he always wants to fight and stay active, so we'll have to see.
Another potential snafu is that the people over there at Queensberry and Top Rank are talking about doing Fury versus Usyk in December.
Now, I don't actually believe them. I believe that's a bit of gamesmanship to throw Eddie Hearn and Matchroom off. I don't believe for a second we're going to get that fight that soon. Maybe January, but not December.
Well, what happened at the Wilder fight? What happened with that?
Eddie Hearn said while both fighters were on board, Skills Challenge Entertainment was simply unable to come up with the funds. Now, Hearn is attempting to field offers from other backers, as far-flung as Qatar and Las Vegas, to stage that fight in the spring. We're spinning blades, as we always do, Hearn said. You know what we want to do. We want to fight Deontay Wilder. That was supposed to happen in January. We accepted the offer. We know it's not materialized now because it was made by someone that couldn't deliver the fight at that time. It's all right. That happens.
Eddie's become like a broken record in reference to this fight, and I have no doubts that he would like to make his own major announcement the same way that Queensberry and Top Rank just did in reference to Fury versus Usyk. Being honest with you, I didn't think they were going to beat him to the punch.
But they did, and it's not bad news. I mean, if we're getting the fight, that's what we've been complaining about. That's why we've been complaining, because we want Fury versus Usyk in that way. It's good news.
Provided Fury doesn't fuck it up.
Though Eddie Hearn has insisted, he is still very confident Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder will get made with talks ongoing. That's the fight we must make. AJ and Wilder will have seen that Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk news and gone. We need to get ours announced now, so that's what we're working on. I'm very confident you'll see that also.
Let's hope.
Anything in terms of fight news for Deontay Wilder seems to have gone quiet momentarily. I don't know if news will break tomorrow that they have found him an opponent, found him someone to fight, and where would he fight? On what platform? On Showtime?
He's not as capable of keeping busy as Anthony Joshua.
Think about what the fall and winter schedule is for the people over there at Showtime and where Wilder and a box office fight for him, a pay-per-view, where would that fit in when they're planning on doing Andrade versus Benavidez in November and then a Mayweather exhibition fight in December. January, they're talking about bringing back Gervonta Davis, I think.
Some point early next year.
In any event, their schedule looks kind of crowded to where I don't know if Wilder fits in there. In the in-between time, Anthony Joshua's keeping busy, staying in shape, and training with Ben Davison.
Tyson Fury's old trainer.
I think he was with Ben for about 4 or 5 fights. And in between the Otto Wallin fight and the second Wilder fight, he swapped him out for Sugar Hill Stewart, and he's been with Sugar ever since. Ben Davison, of course, is well known for his successful partnership with Joshua's great rival, Tyson Fury, the lineal NWBC heavyweight champion. His message to us was that, I want to fight 3 times within the year. His first fight of the year was in April.
The Jermaine Franklin fight.
We've got April to get the public 3 fights within 12 months. Chief Operating Officer of 258 Management, David K.D. Gonza told Boxing King Media, I won't give December. Eddie was giving December, but I will definitely say Anthony Joshua wants to be very active. He's currently ticking over. He's down at the Ben Davison Performance Center at the moment. He's ticking it over with Ben.
Jamie TKV.
We had him in our camps in Dallas a couple of times, so he's still active.
Anthony Joshua's been stressing that he wants to be a more active fighter like he was in previous years in his career.
Irrespective of who you ask, whether it's the people at Matchroom or the people at 258 Management.
Is he thinking about leaving Derek James?
Not necessarily. Gonza says when he's got a date, you'll see him back in Dallas, back with Derek James, and continuing the work.
I don't know if it would be an encouraging omen if Anthony Joshua were still in the process of breaking in new trainers, breaking in a new trainer.
When he's barely broken in the last one, he's only been with Derek James for 2 fights, and you see this news that he's ticking it over with Ben Davison. You wonder if he's not contemplating yet another trainer switch from Rob McCracken,
the Angel Fernandez and Robert Garcia over to Derek James.
And you see he's palling around
with Ben
at the Ben Davison Performance Center, and you just start to wonder, is he contemplating a trainer switch? Derek James's fighters have been in a bad way the last couple of weeks, in case you haven't noticed. Errol Spence, Jermel Charlo.
Just saying.
But as Gonza said, Joshua will return to Dallas once he has a fight date locked in, but the decision to keep busy under Davison's roof adds another interesting storyline to the never-ending heavyweight soap opera, and what insights David might have in reference to Anthony Joshua's rival, Tyson Fury. I don't know if Tyson and Ben are on good terms.
Or bad ones.
You know, they say he's ticking it over with Ben, he's palling around with that guy, he's just working on things in his downtime. It all sounds like he's working with Ben.
It all means the same thing, doesn't it?
Perhaps he might have had to because, Derek James did have to prepare Jermel Charlo for this past weekend's fight. So there's a logical explanation there. Though at the same time, given how much bouncing around Anthony's been doing from one trainer to the next,
you never know.
I don't doubt that there are other investors and other sites that would be interested in hosting the Joshua versus Wilder fight. I don't even doubt that they'll get it over the line. I think they will, especially since Deontay Wilder's got nothing better to do.
Once again, this isn't something that you can pin on Deontay Wilder or pin on Anthony Joshua and Matchroom. This isn't their fault.
Put simply, there's been a shift in the axis of power over there in Saudi, and now they're under new management, and I guess that new management was not interested in putting this thing on, but other people might be.
It's still a big fight if you do it, no matter how blasé people's attitudes might be towards the fight now. If you announced it,
those attitudes would change. Just in keeping with the theme of all things heavyweight, the official word on Usyk versus Fury, Riyadh season, delighted to finally get this fight signed, said Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren of Queensberry Promotions. This is the biggest fight that could possibly be made in our sport. The heavyweights always spark the imagination of the fans, and I have no doubt this will be the biggest boxing event of the century. I look forward to Tyson reclaiming the 3 belts that he never lost in the ring. Huge thanks to His Excellency and the GEA. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk are 2 of the greatest heavyweights of their generation, and I can't wait to see what happens when they step into the ring in Riyadh. They are special talents worthy of competing for the greatest prize in sports, said top-ranked chairman Bob Arum. I would like to thank His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and everyone involved in helping make this legendary night a reality. I can't believe that it's happening, but it is, said Alexander Krassyuk of K2 Promotions. Difficult to express my admiration for being part of the biggest heavyweight fight of the century. Gratitude to the KSA and His Excellency Turki Usyk for making it happen. Respect to Tyson for his courage. And thank the Lord for all he gives us. Spencer Brown, manager of Tyson Fury, said, I am delighted Tyson has the chance to become the first undisputed world heavyweight champion in the four-belt era and prove he is one of the greats of all time. First, though, Tyson will have the chance to prove he is the baddest man on the planet on October 28th. Thank you to His Excellency and the GEA. What a Riyadh season this is going to be.
That's confirmation from both sides. Alexander Krassyuk on the Usyk side, Bob Arum and Frank Warren on the Fury side.
Tyson Fury, who is contact Jai Opetaia, who was in action this past weekend, who wants to recruit him for sparring to help prepare for the Usyk fight. Opetaia himself has revealed. The IBF Cruiserweight champion indicated that he will likely accept the offer.
It's the best sparring around if you're preparing for Usyk.
Jai Opetaia, he's about 6'3", leads with his right hand. He's a southpaw, a bouncy one, an athletic one, a fast one. He's not a carbon copy of Alexander Usyk, but they do have a lot in common.
I will say that Jai's punches are a little different. You know, Jai's best punches are straight, long-range punches.
Whereas Usyk's punches are comparatively shorter, bit more defensible. I don't think Jai has Usyk's footwork, those sudden pivots.
I don't think he cuts angles quite the same way that Usyk does.
Though, as stated, if you're getting ready for Usyk, this guy can help. This is probably the best sparring you can get if you're gonna fight Alexander Usyk.
Fast, athletic southpaw.
Seen an influx of Fury fans that feel their idol has now been redeemed because he's come around to fighting Alexander Usyk when the only reason people thought he wasn't going to fight him was because of Fury himself.
It's because of what Fury said. Fury's the one that was blowing it off, saying that undisputed was never his priority. It was always someone else's.
It's not a narrative that was created by the boxing media or the content creators here on YouTube. Everybody got it from the horse's mouth. They got it from Tyson Fury. So if a large amount of people were under the impression that he didn't want to fight Usyk, that's why.
They say it's mind games.
Whenever Fury puts his foot in his mouth and pisses a lot of people off, they call it mind games. But mind games to achieve what?
To accomplish what?
My honest opinion is that he probably wouldn't have fought him if Turki Usyk weren't offering him a boatload of cash to do it. That
in tandem with public pressure, Tyson Fury has made himself a social pariah the last calendar year.
Paying public, let him have it.
Let him know.
You need to go fight Usyk.
Get to it.